Hi guys. So this is part 2 of us going from 7 kids to 11 kids. So if you haven't seen part 1, go ahead and go back and watch that. But after figuring out legally that I could pick up the kids from my sister, I drove 6 hours from my husband to my house to my parents' house. He stayed home with the 7 kids, and I wanted to get this done as fast as possible. So I immediately picked my dad up. He drove from their house to my sister's house. She had a paper written up that she wanted us to have the kids. She wanted them to stay with us, and she signed it and everything. We put gas in the car, turned around, and drove right back to my parents' house with the 4 kids. We stayed there for the night. I tried to sleep, but I was really worried about what my brother-in-law would do. I was really scared about it. And in the morning, we loaded the kids up, and I drove back 6 hours back to our house. My brother-in-law started text messaging me and threatening me and told me he wanted his kids back. And I told him, you know where I live. I have them. Come and get them whenever you want. Like, you can come pick them up whenever you want. And I continued to drive home. And I called Child Protective Services, and they asked what he said and everything, and I explained what I said, and they said, you're doing it legally correct. And they told me to go to the courts and file for emergency guardianship. By the time I got home, the court was already closed. So the next day, I drove to the court and I started filling out paperwork. And I had to fill out a pack of about 15 or 20 pages for each kid. And it was explaining in detail, or I had to explain in detail, why the kids needed to be with us. And it took so long. I was trying so hard to get it done, and I stayed there from when the court opened to when it closed. And my husband was home with all 11 kids, making lunches and playing with them and making sure everybody was happy and healthy and, making sure everyone was okay. But filling out the paperwork took so long. And I filed it and had to wait, I think a couple days. It might have been 24 hours. And then we were granted emergency guardianship of the 4 kids. And that was just the start of all the paperwork and everything we had to do to be able to protect these children.